Hey, what up, guys? So coming to you this morning, I want to do the preview on the week for Saturday, August 10th. We're supposed to have two cards and two main events to talk about here, but Carl Frampton, who was supposed to fight on ESPN Plus, ended up getting hurt. So I'm not sure if that card's still going to go forward or not because it's the week of, but there's nobody else worth talking about on that card, so I'm not going to talk about it. There's really only one card to talk about now, and it's the DAZN card on Saturday that's going to feature, it's a Golden Boy card that's going to feature undefeated rising star Vergil Ortiz Jr. as he takes on Antonio Orozco. If you guys have been watching within the past year, so for instance, Ortiz was on Canelo's last fight card when he fought Danny Jacobs. He fought on the undercard. He took on Mauricio Herrera, and veteran, and he destroyed Herrera in like 2 or 3 rounds, which I've never seen Herrera get stopped since he's been at the top of his game. I'm not sure if he ever did early on in his career, but Herrera was a guy that should have got a decision over Danny Garcia a few years ago, and he got robbed in that one. I believe they scored it a draw, or they gave it to Danny by a close decision. And, he's just always a game veteran who can take a punch. And as I said, Ortiz just walked right through him. So it was an impressive win. Now he's continuing to step up his game, taking on Antonio Orozco, who Orozco was always a good prospect, but he struggled with his weight at 140 and contemplated moving up to 147, but he's kind of small for 147. So last year, he finally got a big opportunity in a world title shot against Jose Ramirez for Ramirez's 140-pound title. And he went down a couple times in that fight, but man, he fought his ass off. He really fought hard. He kept getting up. It was a good, hard-fought battle. He lost the decision to Ramirez, but that was the only loss of his career. So he's going in against Ortiz. Should be a good-ass fight right here. I think these two guys are going to mix it up. But for Ortiz, this is huge, because if he can do better than Ramirez did, he's going to shoot into the top 10 like a bullet, because Ramirez just beat Orozco last year, in a good fight. He beat him by a decision. Yes, it was a convincing decision for Ramirez, but it wasn't a complete blowout either, and he didn't knock him out. So if Ortiz can come out and blitz Orozco and knock him out, man, he's going to move up pretty high, especially since Ramirez, since then, is now the #1 fighter at 140 after knocking out Maurice Hooker to unified belts. So this is a big fight for Vergil Ortiz right here to really prove himself and stake his claim in the top 10. And I really can't wait to see it. I think it's going to be a good fight. That's Saturday night on DAZN. And you got, like I said, Ortiz is just, he's the real deal. I think he's the real deal. He's tall for a 140-pounder, and which means he's probably eventually going to move up to 147. And he's just a really good fighter. So make sure you check him out this weekend on DAZN. I'm picking Ortiz to win this fight by stoppage in the middle to later rounds, but I would not be surprised if he stopped him early either. Orozco, of course, has a puncher's chance. If he could take Ortiz into the deep waters in a brawl, then I think Orozco could possibly win this one. But I really think Ortiz is going to pull this one out and, move forward. So it should be a good one. Again, guys, Saturday on DAZN. Check it out, Vergil Ortiz versus Antonio Orozco. On the undercard, you got a bantamweight fight where these guys are fighting in a rubber match. Oscar Negret, and I forget the guy he's taking on, but it should be a pretty good co-feature. Because it's a third fight. The first 2 fights, bantamweight's not a weight division that that's 118 pounds that a lot of people pay attention to. So the fact that this is a third fight, it should be a pretty good scrap, a little rivalry here. So make sure you're checking it out on the undercard. All right, guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this. True Boxing, been hit with the truth.